Hello, everyone. Good morning, or afternoon, or good evening, whenever you decide to listen to Coffee and Shell. Episode 49 of NHL 26, and episode 4 of trying to make these go about an hour long after all of the feedback. So, in today's video, we're going to span a bunch of topics. We're going to talk a lot of Hut. We're going to go over some of the most important comments I think that I want to get to, specifically one involving the XP path. And then I'm going to give you guys a chair update. All right. One of the funniest things that has come out of this is that I told you guys that I needed to find a place to play video games and make a space my own. And it's very odd because obviously I have a great studio. My setup, I think a lot of people that are gamers would enjoy. I've got 3 monitors, a 35 or 40-inch TV above me. I can play whatever I want, great computer, all of that, but it's work. Talked about this a lot. Like, no matter what job you have, it will kill your passion for it. So I needed a place where I could game. And I told you designing my living room downstairs as my place to do all of this stuff that I want to do and make my life easier. So I told you guys about the story about trying to go find my chair that I want. Hilarious. The outpouring of feedback about how everyone loved that killed me because it just further hammers home the point that I found my people. You know, the people, you guys that watch my content and watch specifically Coffee and Chill every morning, we're all the same. We're all the same. Whether I play video games for a living or you work in the mines or wherever, at the core of how our personalities are, we're very similar, and I absolutely love that. So, I said chair update. I lied about that. It's not a chair update. November 21st, I'm going to lock it in. Remember, I met a salesperson. He gave me some VIP super secret sale thing. And, I used the tactic of being overly nice to the salesperson. And hopefully he came through with this super secret sale thing that's about to happen. So I'm excited about that. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that. But the other part of the room that I was talking about is that I live in Canada, and it's just Canadian fall is not fall. We get short summer and long winter. We don't get fall and spring. Every once in a while there is. And apparently, according to some weather people that I follow on YouTube, or YouTube Shorts, I guess would be, apparently if you live above, like in the northern, like the 50% line, I don't know what that is. What is the 50? Is that like Missouri? I don't know what that. My geography is always very bad when it comes to the middle states, but the states above Missouri, let's say, and into Canada, apparently we're supposed to get like a record high of snowfall. Not so much like cold weather, but like the most amount of snow. Anyway, so I said I was going to buy a treadmill, but I was super specific. I'm trying to do something that I don't normally do, where I find that I want something, and while I am an adult and I'm blessed to make a decent buck, and I'm not struggling by any means. So if there's something I want, I usually just go and buy it. And I don't wait for sales, and I don't do my due diligence. I'm an idiot, and I have horrible relationship with money. And normally I would just be like, all right, that's the treadmill I want, or I just need a treadmill. And I'd go blow $3,000 on it because I'm an idiot, right? This time I'm like, nah, I don't want to spend any more than 1,500 after taxes. So I went to this fitness place, told the guy, Brad, and he came back to me and called me yesterday, actually while I was streaming. And I was like, oh, Brad, tell me you got me. Tell me you got me my out-of-box, Costco returned, half-price treadmill. And he goes, we did get one, but it's $14.99. But this one comes with like a built-in screen where I can watch Netflix and other apps and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, man, great deal. It's like a $3,000 treadmill. And I'm like, it's not the one for $9.99. I have an iPad. I have a very good iPad. Well, my wife does. I bought her an iPad. I could throw that on there. I have my phone. To be honest, I'll probably play Pokemon TCG Pocket while I'm walking, or I'm gonna watch it on my TV because I'm watching the Sharks game at 6 in the morning, right? So I was like, okay, I don't know. I appreciate you calling me. If someone buys it before tomorrow, I'll call you back tomorrow morning with the answer. I'm gonna call him back and say, hey, I'm going to wait for the $9.99 one because he said he gets it in regularly, and I can see it actually on Costco. Again, for anyone that doesn't know, go and check out if you're looking for like workout equipment. No one ever thinks to go and look at like the places that just like resell workout equipment because usually that's like I'd rather just go to a gym, or if I'm going to buy something, buy it from like Rogue or whatever company that you have. But yeah, man, I didn't even think about this. Costco, they take everything back. Same with Walmart. Like no matter what, they'll just accept it back, regardless of like the shape the packaging's in, and they can't resell it once they've done that. So workout equipment that's thousands of dollars, they just sell it for a quarter of the price and then resellers do it. So check that out if you want one, specifically a treadmill. Again, I'm not a big treadmill guy. If I lived in DC, which is where I kind of wanted to live when I was thinking, me and my wife were thinking about moving to the States before my son was born, um, I wouldn't have bought one. I'm big on going outside, not so much like the touching grass aspect, but I think that there's a necessary need as a human being to just get fresh air. So anytime you can. However, if you live in Canada, all bets are off, man. Get inside. Don't deal with that. Life is hard enough. If you're trying to walk 2K, 4K, 8K, whatever in a day, don't do it with the Canadian tundra blasting you in the face. There's no need to be David Goggins. All right. So yeah, that's a room update. I'll provide a picture, maybe. I also this is gonna be maybe I'd love to see the reaction of this. So I'm big on lighting, and I want my lighting to be warm in my room. So I was looking on IKEA, and I found like a really big floor lamp that has like the big pole, and then like another big pole that kind of like it's like a big can light that you'd be over your couch when you're reading and stuff. I think I found the one I want. So I'm excited about that. I'm probably gonna go pick that up this weekend, but it's coming together. It's coming together. My next thing is to determine if my TV is big enough. TV prices are so cheap, by the way, now in relative terms. Like, I remember when I first moved out when I was like 19, getting a 32-inch flat screen TV was like $700. You can get like a 4K TV that's like 60 inches for like $750. Now, obviously, it's not like some crazy, like, whatever, but it does the job, right? So, I'll look and see if I want a new TV or not, but yeah. Anyways, on to the team of the week. So we got team of the week. Our first 87 overall. It was Miro Heiskanen. I still don't love. It feels an awful lot like they pick team of the week to cherry pick line combos, and maybe that's the right thing to do, right? Like, they don't do what I would love to see. The best players for that week get them, like performance-wise, right? I know that Marcus Johansson got one, and I was watching the Sharks game, and he hit his 1,000th game, which is crazy to me. Like, Marcus Johansson has been the epitome of the waiver wire fantasy player that you pick up and drop 50 times for like the last decade. I'm trying to see what his scoring was in the last week on StatMuse. And what do I know? Oh, no. Okay, yeah. So in the last week, it's not good. Like, last 7 days, he has got, 3 points. Like, so clearly the only reason he's in there is because of the 1,000th game. Give him a milestone card. I think team of the week should be, I don't want to say just take the team of the week or the 3 stars of the week from the NHL, but maybe make that its own thing. Like, here are your stars of the week via the NHL, and they just get cards. And maybe that's a new card type. Because the way that the NHL does it, they're very performance-based, and it makes sense. So I personally just think that, like, we talk a lot about how last year specifically, they didn't give out cards based on real-life performances, like they weren't watching hockey. And they're a little bit better this year, but I just think Team of the Week should reflect that, But that being said, about the Team of the Week, so now it's 87 overalls. You get 84 overalls in your Team of the Week choice pack, so make sure you're doing those objectives at least every week. They are very easy. I did mine in an hour, and I only had 3 Team of the Week cards because I just, nuked my collection. But you can get some more and just save them for a little while. And yeah, so it took me about an hour. I got an 84 or 83 overall choice back from this week, but this week I'll do the same thing. And I want to note this down. So Star of the Month did not require captain cards. So if you made Larkin, Malkin, Boldy, all of those guys, they didn't go into the Star of the Month. So I wanted to make it very clear that unless the card is just an absolute banger, I don't think Heiskanen is, because I think his captain card is kind of better. Like, it's faster. Like, I don't know. I just like his captain card better. And I think you could make him for far cheaper. That being said, um, if it's a card that you don't want, and you essentially get 2 free 84 overall team of the week cards every week, and you need about 16. You needed 16 83 overalls to make Eichel for the team of the week, right? So if you saved for an entire month, you'd have at least 8. That's halfway there. If you made one captain, though, you essentially remove the ability to get Eichel for not free, but very close, right? So I just wanted to point that out. Now, it could change, and maybe 85s are usable, or 86s are usable. The captains from last month are usable this month. We'll see. But you can only go off of what they've done. This content team loves to just completely change things up. So I wanted to bring that up. If you don't absolutely love the team of the week card like Heiskanen, then I would just hold off. Like, it was the opposite in the first month because we didn't know about how Star of the Month would work. I actually made the 86s as like a safety net because I'm like, oh, 2 of them will work for 1, right? But that isn't how it worked. And here we are, just for the next Star of the Month. So I just want to bring that up. Make sure you're doing your Team of the Week objectives. Save your choice pack. I got an interesting comment that I want to make sure I get to, about why we would save our Team of the Week. Actually, no, we'll get to it right now. This is my man, Joe Spetz. He has been an active commenter for the last 2 years. He says, can I ask, what is the importance of keeping packs to use that glitch if the season is restarting? The line combos are resetting, making this trick useless for now. Keeping an 82 to 84 overall so that they may turn into a +2 might not be useful right now, but maybe in a month from now. I find EA found a masterful way of making us feel like we need to buy up 83s and 86s in case they are getting into a line combo, but at the start of the season, it's the worst strategy. Just thought I would share my exact 2 cents of the opinion. So, I don't know if I fully grasped your point here on this. So he's talking about what's the point of saving the choice packs, because I've showed you guys essentially when you get a choice pack, if it isn't a card that immediately goes in your team that's like super important, you could just dashboard, close the game, and then keep the pack. And then when there's something that comes out that is an absolute like just huge combo, then you can make the selection for those cards, right? It's just safer. I'm not doing it right now because season 2 is about to tick over and we're getting all new line combos. So what's good right now is good for like the next 10 days, right? So again, maybe I'm not explaining my point correctly. So when season 2 happens, and maybe I think we will go back down to +2 overall and +1 overall boost, but there's also salary and AP and all of that. There will be a specific line combination. I'm trying to think of the exact example. Czechia, Sweden, Avalanche, right? That was the big one. That was one of the big ones, right? And if you've got a card that allows you to do that plus another one that fits perfectly to get like a +3 early on, it would be more valuable in 2 weeks than taking a card right now like Kirby Doc, who would be, maybe gets the +10 for 10 days, in my opinion. Just the longevity of it is why I think it is useful. To be honest, the way that progression works, there's a point at which 83s and 84s won't be useful. Again, this is untradeable cards. They're not tradable. But there comes a point where, like, they're just too low. Like, even if they get, like, a +7 or 8 overall boost, they're probably too low to even be impactful. And that hasn't happened yet. I don't think 83s or 84 overalls, if they get the right boost, are still very valuable, even at the start of Season 2. So, it's just the way progression works, my man. Like, the longer you save it, the better it's probably going to be. However, there's going to be one where you're like, okay, I can use it now. I've got Jeremy Swayman in the Beast Mode event from the 85 overall B&D. I'm just waiting, and I can't remember who the other one is, the other 85 I have in that pack. I want to say it's Toropchenko, but I don't think it is. I think he's an 83. Not usable in anything important, right? So at some point, they might become useful. So if they're not going to make my team now, and I'm not trading them in for anything, then why would you not just hold on and wait until there is a specific thing? Again, I would like to hear a better way or better explanation for your point here as to why not to do it is all. So Again, I'm probably just not understanding, but that is something I was curious about because yeah, for team of the week, just hold on to the choice packs and wait. You know. All right, another one I wanted to get to. Someone had a comment about the XP path and stating that it was designed to have you blast through it. And I thought that was very interesting because it is. Even if you are someone who is struggling to finish the XP path with 5 to 10 dedicated hours of the season, you can finish that XP path, especially the later on you go because you have those weekly objectives. If you prioritize the weekly objectives, let's say you started last week, there's 9 weeks of those objectives because they don't go away until the season rolls over. There's 42,000 XP for each one. If you prioritize that for like a 5-hour session, you'd be almost done the XP path, right? But the problem is that we are nutcases and we play the game at such an insane amount and regularity that we blast through it. We get through it very, very quickly. And what's funny is that in most games, finishing an XP path quicker is better. Now, obviously, you get Macklin Celebrating, and I hope to God the XP path card is better. I don't know how there wasn't a line combo that benefited that, right? Because Macklin's card was just so underwhelming. It's a little bit better now that they fixed the endurance thing, but I hope that season 2 has a line combo at the beginning for a +2 overall for Macklin. I hope that is the case because it's almost like a reward for doing that. I don't think there was enough of a reward for finishing the XP path. That said, outside of the specific card, which might not be useful, it's only really useful for the hardcore players if it fits into a line combo. All of the stuff you weren't up to it, I talked about this. They've made the packs from those, or the packs that you can make with the collectible, so expensive that the XP path really isn't rewarding. It's a nice supplementation of reward, but it isn't a main source of your rewards, which is why it's leading me to test out the token method that a few of you guys have mentioned in the comments. And essentially it's like using the beast mode method. So if you, instead of taking those XP collectibles you get for rewards and packs, because there's so few of them, you could just turn them into tokens and then downgrade and upgrade multiple of the XP cards. Like, for example, Will Smith and Vince Dunn. That's the one I use because they both fit into very popular combos that would really boost them up. Like Will Smith can get a +6 overall with McKinnon and Kucherov's Beast Mode card. Vince Dunn can go with Roman Yossi and get a +5 overall boost, right? Like, that's massive, right? And if you had enough tokens, I think you would need an extra 15 because you get one for free. So you need 15 tokens, which would be a lot of the packs that you could do, like a lot of the tokens or collectibles you get. But I think that's probably more advantageous because you can pick and choose when a new line combo comes out. And as we've seen, flexibility is king with your collection and your cards based on how they use the line combos, right? But it made me think about, so it's designed to have you blast through the path, which I agree. But when you go through the XP path and get it finished quickly, yes, you get the card, but you're actually, the longer you wait to finish the XP path, and let's say you're doing packs, the worst chance if you finish the XP path week 1 and you burn all of your collectibles on packs, you're pulling the lowest value cards for that season. Alternatively, if you waited until the last day to do it at the end of the season, you would get the shot and chance at the best cards for that season in the available pack pool. You're not going to pull anything anyways, but it's just the chance at it, right? So I thought that was very odd because there's no repeatable packs at the end. And apparently that is a tech thing, and they haven't spent the resources to put that into the game, the ability to do that with their extremely archaic menu system. And I hope that they put some intention behind that because we're starting to see infinite rewards be available. Cup Chase has infinite rewards. Are they good? No, but they are far better than squad battles in my opinion because you can play at your own pace, and if that pace is you want to do 2 Cup Chase modes in 2 days, you can. It takes 2.5 hours of doing the sit there method to get through a Cup Chase run. So if you want to spend 5 hours doing that, you could get multiple rewards, right? Like, they aren't great rewards. I understand that. But you can. The options there. We've never had the potential at infinite rewards. They always time gated our rewards. Like Wednesday would come around and then we get our new stuff, everything resets, and then you've got to do everything in that next Wednesday. But if you can't do it in that week, you're not getting any rewards, right? So here is my issue that I think it brings up as a whole with HUT. I find that EA NHL HUT over the last 2 to 3 years, any new idea or thing that they develop lacks intention. It's always safe and never all in. And what I mean by that is more when it comes to rewards, because they made a gigantic change with lineups and team building. They did, right? But when it comes to rewards, it's like because they can't QA test, they're so safe with it because they don't want to accidentally come out with something they can't take back and everyone can get a ton of packs or rewards, right? So what another thing, like an example would be wildcard, right? Wildcard rewards are fine. You essentially get enough collectibles in a week to make an 84 overall. And with 2 of them, you can almost make a master set player. You can get halfway to a master set item with wildcard. And what's funny about wildcard is it replaced Hot Rush. And wildcard was the result of a lot of the player base saying they wanted a draft style mode. And what they gave us was a mode that tries to appease the offline crowd and the online crowd, and in my opinion, appeases nobody. There's people out there that'll like wildcard, but I'm talking about I'm generalizing here. If you were to ask the normal player, the average hardcore player, wildcard is an afterthought because it's not super competitive and it's not as rewarding for the offline player as Cup Chase. It lacks identity, intention, right? And the same thing with the XP path. It's so safe, right? And I think that if they made infinite rewards, that's a way to get rid of that safety net, right? Now, it keeps everything on the rails when you have these safety nets in place, but it ensures that there's no true gigantic change, right? And the problem with rewards, guys, the ultimate problem with rewards in anything is that as a player, if we get these new rewards that are incredible, 6 months later, we'll want more. That's human nature. So it's a never-ending chase of wanting more, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that, like, it feels like they're trying to avoid that by just never giving us substantial rewards. And I've talked about this, that rewards, it's a very slippery slope. The more rewards you give, the cheaper cards are, and it ruins a lot of the market, right? So there's a balance that needs to be had. But obviously, it's skewed way too far in this game in terms of the lack of rewards. I'm with you on that completely. So, but yeah, when you burn through the path, you don't get that slow drip of cards or rewards throughout the season that can potentially give you better pulls, right? So the faster you do it, technically, the worse it is, which is kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy to me in that sense. But we'll see what happens with Season 2. If you wanted my opinion on what I would do with the XP path or the season in general, like I mentioned, because that every season they are releasing so much content, so many icons, heroes, captains, rookies, and the events. If you made it too short, there would be too much, and you would burn out the player base that doesn't spend money. Because imagine we got Lindros, and 2 weeks later we get Wayne Gretzky. You know? There needs to be a nice spacing if that is how the reward structure is going to be. So someone in my comments a while ago said 60 days, but every 30, the XP path resets. So then every 60 days, we get the new big, or maybe 6 weeks. Well, 50 days, or, that might be, and then every 25 days it resets. I think the XP path resetting is because I know there's people out there that have not been able to complete the XP path. Again, I promise you, if you waited to the last week, you could finish it by just doing all of the weekly objectives. You get very close. It is very easy to finish if you are hyper-specific trying to finish it. And I think that maybe doing it twice in a season would be a way to make the rewards somewhat better. But I think that what will end up happening is the season will be... Well, when is Really dates wise, you can kind of tell. So the 21st is when the next season ticks over. I mean, I could see it going to like team of the season or team of the year, which last year was at the end of January, around the 23rd. So 2 months is probably what we're looking at. The first one was damn near three. It was 2.5, 75 days. So is 60 too long? Probably. Is 50 the sweet spot? I think so. That's my guess. But we'll have to wait and see. That's coming up shortly. And I'm excited for it because again, it might not be good. It might lead to exhaustion, but it's going to be a very exciting time to see how it's going to go. And we'll see what they learned from season one going into season two. So, another update. So after the gym yesterday, I went to my local used game store. I've been going to them for years. Always, if you're an old school video gamer, or find your local video game store and just go there sometimes. It's nice. Like I find that it is therapeutic to just look, right? And I told a lot of you guys, especially on stream, that I have this like weird thing that I'm doing that I don't know, I'm finding it fun, is that Pokemon I love and I always will because it came out when I was 8, like I mentioned, but like here's Onyx, right? Um but that being said, I think I want, I want to give my son the opportunity to enjoy Pokemon the way I did. So I'm going back and getting every Pokemon game and then playing through them. And then I'm going to upload them to Pokemon Home. And then hopefully when he gets into Pokemon around 6 or 7, I found that Pokemon's very hard to get into if you're like 4 or 5 because it's all reading. And it's all like, if you were to give a 5 or 6 year old like a Game Boy Advance version of Pokemon, there's no way they'd be able to do it because there are mechanics that like you kind of have to think, and it's, you know what I mean, like it'd be pretty difficult. Scarlet and Violet's a little bit different because you're just running around, but you probably still wouldn't be able to complete the whole game. So by the time he's like 6 or 7, I want to have Pokemon Home completed with every Pokemon ever came out. That's just like something that is going to take me years. And I started it with Fire Red, beat Fire Red, and there's like this convoluted process. You have to get a Game Boy if Nintendo is one of the most infuriating companies because they don't do things easily. It reminds me a lot of Disney when they used to vault movies. Like, remember when you guys were younger and like if you liked what's a good Disney movie? Like Toy Story. And Toy Story 1, you could buy it on VHS and everything, and then they would vault it. It would go in the Disney vault, and it just meant that you couldn't buy it. They wouldn't release any new VHS tapes to purchase. It would go in the vault, and then when it came out of the vault, they would do this special thing, and then you'd spend more money to buy it. Just a crazy scheme that worked perfectly. Nintendo, I don't get why they don't release a Nintendo Switch version in the store in which you can buy the Game Boy Advance version, the Game Boy versions of the Pokemon games to play on your Switch, not redone or remastered, just like legitimately play them on the Switch. I don't know why. And if they do that, it would make things so much easier because for anyone that wants to get into old Pokemon, if you have Heart Gold or Soul Silver, two of the best Pokemon games of all time because of the fact you can do Johto and Kanto, and you're basically getting those two games entirely, and it's a remake. Those are $200. Those are the most expensive Pokemon games currently. If you have them in the case, like you're looking at like 300-400. So if you are not interested in Pokemon, you have those, go sell them. But to get your Pokemon from Fire Red to Pokemon Home, which is the like bank system, you have to have a DS Lite, which was the last DS that allowed you to use a Game Boy Advance game in it. And then you put Fire Red in your Game Boy Advance game, and then you have to get a copy of Pokemon Pearl or Diamond, and then put that into the DS slot, and then beat Pokemon Pearl. Once you get the end game finished and you get the National Pokedex, you can then migrate them from the same console. And that's how you get, and then from Pearl, you send it to a 3DS that has the Pokemon Transporter app, which I have, which no longer exists. You can't buy it because the 3DS store closed. And then once you have it on that, you can send it to Pokemon Home. The process is obnoxious. And yes, there's people that are like, why don't you just emulate it? Because that's not how I enjoyed Pokemon when I was a kid. And it's something that's unnecessary, and it just makes me feel happy. So anyways, I got Pokemon Pearl finally. I found it for like $45. Just the copy, not the case or anything. I don't need any of that. So that's my next thing is I'm going to beat Pokemon Pearl so that I can get the end game and then go on there. Other things in gaming news, all right? Tarkov 1.0. So for anyone that doesn't know what Tarkov is, it's a PC game, only available on PC. In my opinion, it is the greatest first-person shooter ever released has been in beta for 10 years. It has not been there has not been a 1.0 release, but I believe on November 15th in 2 days, 1.0 is releasing. So it's finally going to be like a story, cutscenes, all of it, and you escape from Tarkov. Can't wait for that game to come out. It'll probably have its flaws and whatnot, but I will be playing it on stream in the mornings. I can't wait for it. I'm so excited for it. It is such a hardcore game. I've said this a lot. Tarkov, if you don't have someone to play with when you first get into it, you will not stick with it. It takes about 100 hours to understand one map, and there is 10 of them. When you load into it, there is no HUD. There is no radar. There is nothing on the screen that tells you you have a friend. It is the most hardcore game that you can play. And it's just done so well. And I'm very, very excited for 1.0 to come out. So if you want to see what Tarkov's about or anything like that, I'll have morning streams. I'll be playing with Burt Crown, his buddy of mine, hilarious. It's going to be 3 hours of me just making fun of him and playing Tarkov. So very excited about that. It feels nice to be excited about another video game, and specifically a new game that come out. Like, it's not really new, but it's the final product. So yeah, that'll be coming out very shortly, and I'm excited to play that. It's addicting, and yeah. Lastly, someone asked me yesterday. This is I don't know. I always like talking about my career as a creator, because I always just find it interesting, and I like talking about it in a sense of like an average person. I am a very average person. I think that's why I relate to a lot of you guys. I'm not some grandiose content creator that makes millions and all of that. It is not that glamorous. I made it to number 1 as the NHL like HUT creator on Twitch and YouTube, and I'm blessed for that. And but that does not mean that I have these like millions in the bank. I make a pretty average dollar, and I love it. I thoroughly enjoy it. So someone asked me though if I ever get worried about like this coming to an end, which is a crazy like philosophical conversation to have. And I'm sure there's people out there that wonder about that. I think the thing that keeps me grounded is, I've talked about this a lot recently, is that I love the work. So I love editing videos. There's nothing that the highest dopamine kick that I get. There's two. One is when I'm having these great in-depth conversations with my chat on Twitch. It's very rarely playing whatever game I'm playing. It's usually when me and my chat get into like a serious conversation about a topic that I'm passionate about, which is probably why these are doing so well, because it's essentially the same thing. Number two is editing a video that I'm proud of and spending like 8 hours on it. So no money spent would be those, but even this last year, my no money spent videos don't have the same level of detail in editing that I would like, because A, I'm lazy, and B, my time is more important to me to spend with my son on the weekends and things like that. And the rest of my time throughout the week is on daily content, right? So if you go back and watch NHL 24's no money spent videos, those are the peak of me loving editing. And my face-off video I did in NHL 25 in the summertime, that's another one, an example of me just loving it. It's my favorite thing to do. So even if the views stopped, and as long as I kept a financial amount that I could earn that did not impact my wife or my son quality of life, I don't care about myself, but if my wife and my son's quality of life, then I will keep doing what I'm doing. And the drop in income or anything like that does not faze me, because as long as it doesn't impact those two. Now, obviously, my quality of life is improved. Anyone's quality of life improves the better you do. But for the most part, I live well within my means. I don't really have, like I said, I bought a new car. And when I say a new car, I bought a 2023 Volkswagen Atlas. It has 30,000 kilometers on it, and I love it. It is an unbelievable vehicle. It's got leather interior. Very proud of it. My wife drives it 95% of the time, but hey, I'm happy that she's got a new car, and my son's got a big, nice car that she can drive him around in, right? So I drive a 2013 GMC Canyon with 250,000 kilometers on that I will beat the piss out of, that I love. I love my truck, and I have no real need to improve it. But so when it comes to like, do I ever get worried? No, because I know that if it ever hit the fan and it was just over, I would just find my next thing. I would go and do all of the jobs I don't want to do, to make the quality of life for my family the same as it is currently. And that might mean being a bus driver or going to work for some marketing company or working for EA maybe. I always say that at some point when it became to the point where my YouTube career and Twitch just isn't doing it for me anymore, like from a passion standpoint, I would like to work for EA for a year at least as a on the content team. I probably could have in 2021. I talk about this a lot. I probably could have taken a job to be the content guy, but EA has a firm like you can't be a content creator. You can't make videos about you can't. It's just something they don't really allow. I understand from a business they don't want someone like imagine me making videos to benefit financially on my own, where I'm just reviewing the content I make, and then I'm taking a salary from them, but then I'm making essentially the same salary probably by making YouTube videos about what you see what I'm saying, and they're not getting any of it. If I was a business, yes, technically the promotion would be worth it maybe, but like what if I critiqued it? If I was like, man, I came out with these new cards, but Tommy in marketing said, no, you can't do that. So I couldn't do it. Sorry, guys. Like imagine they want to avoid any potential of that. Right. So I always think that 1 year I'd like to do it just to see, to humble myself, because I know it's harder than people think it is. Sometimes they shoot themselves in the foot quite a bit, but it is harder than people think it is. So I do think I would like to try that one time. I don't know. I tried getting into media for real hockey with the Ice Dogs. It's not for me. Hockey is a passion I love watching. I don't love making it a job. But you know, things change, and I found that I love working for myself because I don't want to answer to anyone. Whether it's the feeling of guilt by not performing well enough, and now your boss has got to get mad, or the feeling of like, what's the point of doing this? I don't want to work for be a number. I've read this a lot that like some people, there's a genetic trait that like kind of pushes you towards being an entrepreneur. And I hate that word. It sounds so dumb. Self-employed, I think would be a better way to say it. And I think that I have it. And I think that I remember before I quit my job to do this and go all in, I burned the boats. I did it way too early, but I think that was what allowed me to work hard enough to get to where I am. And I would go to work and just be like, even if I was like, okay, today I'm going to try really hard, it would exhaust me 10 times more than Susan, who could do the same job and do a great job at it, love her job and the company she works for. And you know, and I just couldn't understand that. And that's because it wasn't for me. It wasn't meant for me, right? So I don't know. I love doing what I'm doing, and I don't see myself stopping. I think that a lot of creators, what they do, especially if they do it in the early 20s, if they've never worked a real job before and they don't know what it's like, I think they have a very skewed view. I 100% understand and appreciate the people that go to work because they got to go to work and they've got to earn money any way that they can to support their family or themselves or their home and their family's lifestyle or anything like that. And I have an appreciation for that because I did that before I left and did this, right? So I don't have like this giant ego that thinks I'm going to be the all-time voice. I've said this a number of times. I think the NHL space needs more creators. And a lot of people might view that as like, why would you want more competition? Because high tides raise all ships. If this is the example, and there's a lot of creators that don't understand this because they don't want the potential of someone new coming and taking their viewers. That's going to happen regardless. There will be someone that replaces me because once you get to a certain point, you don't really evolve as a creator. You just are what you are, and then you have to reinvent yourself. But for the most part, people don't, and that's what ends them to not really, continuing on. That's usually the downfall of it, right? But when a new creator would come around, there might be viewers that don't watch me, right? But they watch this other creator. And if I'm on when that creator's not, that new viewer that wouldn't watch other creators in the NHL space, they're watching this person. If they're not on Twitch at the time, but now they're in the Twitch ecosystem, that's another viewer for the community. You know what I mean? And it's not going to be everyone because, like, again, there's going to be lots of people that come out that don't like me. And I completely understand. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But every creator, there's no NHL creator that is universally loved by every single person. That's just the reality of human beings. There's lots of people that don't like me, and and they can't explain why. Just like I don't like, there's people I don't like that I can't explain why I don't like you, but you just don't jive with me, right? So, it's I've been very blessed. The GWC canceling, like that was a big loss of income for me. But when it happened, the Gaming World Championships, it sent me all over the world. I got to go to Sweden, to Belgium, to the Netherlands. I got to go all over North America, to being paid to call a video game. I have a clip on my Twitter that's my pinned tweet of Gary Bettman telling me that I should do this for real hockey, which is like a crazy thing that Gary Bettman told me. I don't believe that. I don't like the sound of my voice, and I don't particularly think I'm some amazing play-by-play guy. I'm just reading the names on the screen. But I've watched a lot of hockey in my life, and I know what a broadcast kind of sounds like. But, I got to do all those things, and I'm grateful to do them. Does it suck I lost a lot of money year over year? Yeah, but okay, now I got to go find ways to make more, and I find that to be interesting. Like, I like when I've got to be challenged, right? I talked a lot about this too, that like when I play sports, my when I do the best when something is on the line. I do better example. When it matters most, you will get the best performance out of me. That does not mean that I will be better than everyone. It's simply for whatever psychological reason, I will perform to the top end of my capability when something matters, whether that's in baseball, whether that's in NHL. I can't tell you how many times that I will play someone that I should beat online, just from a skill standpoint. I don't know who they are, and they will beat me, but I match up against a top tier player that I know. I will lean forward and I will give you a 10x effort. And I talk about this on the stream all the time. I wish I could get that feeling in manufacturing it all the time. And I bet there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that they have that same quality. I can't, it's so frustrating to me. So frustrating to me that if something is not on the line, I can't get the best out of myself. I have no idea why. Another example, I play cornhole competitively. And cornhole to me is so boring, and it was last year, until we got to the playoffs when I showed up an hour beforehand to learn and practice frisbee tossing. Like in cornhole, there's way different ways to throw, and frisbee tossing is like the competitive pro way to do it. I don't know what it is. I have this like one of my favorite things to do is to actively get better at something. And if I can't actively get better at something, like if the thing is too abstract, right? Like get better at NHL. What does that mean? But if you were like, okay, can you practice doing this deke over and over again? I could do that, right? And like same thing with like anything. Like so cornhole, I had no real interest because it was just kind of boring. But once playoffs hit, I was like, dude, I gotta get to there. I gotta get to the place first for an hour. I'm gonna practice how to do it. It's so frustrating. I don't know why I am the way I am, but anyways, we're 42 minutes in. Let's get to the questions and comments. All right, 9 to 5 gaming. Sleeves, loving the new format. Do you think EA will do another fantasy event for the Olympics? So the Olympics is touchy. It's tough. I don't think they will do a fantasy event for it because the Olympics is IOC. They do not have Olympic rights. They have IIHF rights. So they have rights to the World Junior Championships, the World Championships. They do not have rights to the Olympics unless there's something new coming down the pipe and they paid for Olympic rights, which would be awesome. It would be it. Again, this is a legal thing, so I won't even fault EA for it if there's no like fantasy event for the Olympics. But if they did make a fantasy event for the Olympics because they got Olympic IOC rights, good Lord, that would be amazing. Because if the Four Nations face-off taught me anything, we care about best on best for the country that we represent or live in. Like I didn't realize how much I cared about it. Now I got a different experience. I got to go to Montreal and watch Canada USA in real life. Top 3 greatest real life sporting experiences for me. I will never forget when JT Miller and Parayko dropped the gloves. Like the first 2 seemed kind of staged, and when Matthew Tkachuk and Hagel did it, it was like, oh my God, they're actually gonna fight. And then Brady and Bennett, it was like, okay, that's obvious, right? But then when Parayko and Miller did it, dude, the crowd at the Bell Center could not believe it. Because, yes, JT Miller was in that, like, group text where they were, like, planning to fight. Parayko that was literally, they ran into Bennington and Parayko's like, nope, we're just going to fight. And like, obviously in the Olympics, you can't fight. And a hill I'll die on that I'll never get full agreement with. Fighting in hockey is unbelievable. I absolutely love it. I love it as much as goals. Like, obviously not in like, I get the same emotional, like, yeah, like when when one of my guys gets rocked and someone comes in and makes them answer the bell. It is a big reason as to why hockey is the greatest sport on the planet, because the athletes get to police themselves. And I know a lot of people out there don't like fighting because of the health aspects of it. Totally understand. I want to counter that by saying it is the most dangerous sport on the planet. You are flying around at 30 miles an hour on knives. It is inherently extremely dangerous. And yes, fighting is unnecessary, not from the emotional aspect. And I know that I will always get pushback, and I understand why people don't like it and want it removed. It's just not how I enjoy it. If it was removed, that takes a massive emotional aspect out of the game, and it turns it into more of basketball. No disrespect to basketball. Hey, Sleeves, I'm tired of everyone complaining about the rewards and saying it doesn't change in Season 2. They're out. Well, for those that remember, the rewards path for pre-order or preseason, it reset for Season 1, and it gave you all the rewards you received from the previous season, meaning there are going to be a lot of rewards given to you when Season 2 drops. Love the videos. Best way to walk 3 miles. Also, love that you walk 3 miles. Everyone should be walking and getting 10,000 steps a day. If you comment and say, if they don't do this, I'm out, like 75% of the time, probably, you're probably coming back because you're passionate enough to talk about it. It's the dejected ones where you're like, those are the ones you'll lose. If you're commenting and making your opinion heard about it, it means you are passionate. I don't have a problem with it, but it means you are passionate. You are going the extra mile to explain your opinion on it. You're probably still going to just eat it the way that, if stuff doesn't change. Like I said, when it comes to rewards, I try to take an even-minded approach because I want to protect the entirety of the player base, and that includes things that a lot of people don't agree with. Like, if we got infinite rewards, every card means less, and there is a balance to that, meaning that if you pull a good card now, very rare and hard to do, but you pull base McDavid in the first month of the game, 300,000 coins. Obviously, that's tanked and whatever, but that's just an example, right? And when you have infinite rewards and things like that, it really, the example I use is franchise mode. If you played franchise mode as a kid or as an adult, whatever, and you had trades turned off, like any trade you could make, and you spent 10 hours building this team, this powerhouse of a team. That's too good for you. Would never be able to do it if trades were turned on, or you cheesed the system and you built this super team. Your interest is building that team, but then you get immediately bored and probably done after a season or two because there's no challenge. Infinite rewards means that if everything that you can get is too easy to get, as a human being, you will get bored. We need a challenge. We need some sort of friction, but it's finding the balance of that. Because if you make things too hard, we don't want to do it. Life is hard. And it's a video game, which is so frustrating because things should never be super hard, but there's a reward in working towards something and getting something that you now feel more rewarded because you worked to get it, right? But I will say that they were very safe with rewards in Season 1, and they do need to increase them. The baseline would be an 83 or maybe even 84 now, because 84 seemed to be the barrier of you need to learn at least an 84 overall currently in Cup Chase. If you play on Superstar, you beat a Cup Chase, it should be an 84 plus pack. Okay? It should be an 84 plus pack. And because I think Cup Chase is incredible, because if you can play on Superstar, and if you can't, you play on whatever difficulty you can and slowly work towards Superstar. That should be your progression, by the way. And then once you can comfortably win every game on Superstar, I would then move into online. That's the progression. If someone was brand new to NHL and they didn't want to play online, but that's the natural progression I would recommend them going. So if you when I was doing my subathon, and the reason why I loved Cup Chase was because I was doing it Superstar, and the ranked rewards were awful, and I had to play the game so much, so I was doing Cup Chase. I would put all of the cards required that I had to put in for objectives, team of the week, game breakers, event items, whatever. And then I would do a Cup Chase run on Superstar. Obviously, you can't cheese and get all of the things done, but you're getting stuff done while getting rewards that are very useful. That's how Cup Chase should feel. Like, if I'm doing a Cup Chase run and I get an 84 overall, I'm okay with that. Because an 84 overall, you need 2 of them to make a Master Set player item. Meaning, if you do 2 Cup Chase runs, complete the event objectives, you're getting a free MSP from just work. Or if you wanted to sell it for coins, like, that's one that needs to happen. Second, there needs to be an additional reward path where you earn all of the ranked rewards just for winning a game. You don't lose a square when you lose. You gain a square every time you win, and there should be the same ranked path that's in there now that's just kept. And that way online players that are great at the game can earn double. So yeah. Hansley, hey Sleeves, hot takes. I like that. I do have a GM connected league privately managed by me. At some point, we were 16, 32 was too much for me. Basically, we just play and compile stats on a website with the online versus teams. Love that. Finding time to match up against others were a bit challenging because of all of our life schedules. But we're good now. The way I do it is really month by month. Before I simulate all the games not played, our sim ratio is lower than 5%. When it's playoff times, all users have a week to finish a round. EA should actually give the option to users to be GM only or both so you can play when you're free and manage the team at the same time. As for a new GM connected mode, it'd be nice if you just enter the game mode, then see the calendar of the game you need to play in a month, and then you can see right away which teams in your league are online, offline. 100% the way it needs to be. It needs to be month by month, not week by week, 100%. EA should actually make this mode payable so the real ones would stick to it without killing HUT. Either the commish pays a fee to have a league, or make it payable to everyone actually. Yeah, so you can't do that. I'm sure they'd find a way to monetize it, but you wouldn't be able to do that. But I do like the month by month. I think the only way it'd work is if you set up a league and it's like Sunday nights are league night, and make it no different than what I do on Wednesday nights with cornhole, or Wednesday, Tuesdays, and Fridays in the summer when I play baseball. The chair couch rant is one of my favorite Coffee and Chel moments of all time. I almost forgot this wasn't a Bill Burr podcast. Keep it coming. Dude, Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians of all time. So that's actually, I love that. Thank you. Can I start? Can I ask, what is the Oh, sorry, Joe, I already answered that. My apologies. I'm not familiar with what HUT has done historically, but a thought to connect more users and money into the game would be an opportunity to win something physically. Say it's once-a-month tournaments based on a rank with the overall winner and getting a fan gear of your favorite hockey team, tickets to a game, or even EA-branded items for gaming. This can have entry requirements like games played and ranked champ tokens, from previous finishes, or entries that can be bought to enter. Eliminate the salary cap for teams and have a weekend face-off once a month. Enjoy the content. For sure. The reason why they don't is simply because they would have to have an employee keep track and do all of that. That's probably it. And they don't deem that to be enough of a reward for it. Because technically, you just described HUT champs. You get collectibles that turn into whatever you want, right? It's funny, MLB has something, I think, where every month they give away signed memorabilia stuff in-game from, like, I don't know if it's Versus or how they get it, but my man Spiro actually won, like, an autographed Vladdy ball by playing MLB The Show. I don't know what it was. I don't hate this idea, but the second that you add having to give away anything, it's the cost involved. So now you got to pay for shipping no matter where internationally. You've got to pay someone to do all the tracking of it. You've got to develop a mode that can track it all. Like, I don't think that, like, I would love that, and I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just giving you the realistic expectations of, like, what would happen. I don't see them being like, yeah, let's dedicate resources to that. They should. It'd be awesome. This may be a controversial take. I love that. But here it goes. I'm a competitive guy. I like challenging myself, and thus I really like building the absolute best team I can by spending no additional money besides the deluxe edition. One of us. The only mode that really scratches that itch is online. It's been said ad nauseum now. Great use of ad nauseum. But ranked is terrible from a rewards perspective, and champs is just okay for rewards. My point is, I truly cannot comprehend how anyone can have fun playing this game purely offline. Cup Chase is an absolute chore, albeit significantly better than squad battles, though. I play on Superstar for max rewards since we get so few, and it's just so boring destroying the AI for 16 games or so. Then, to top it off, the rewards are absolutely mid. They said the AI was better, it's absolutely not. So, my question goes out to the offline players. Do you enjoy Cup Chase, or is it another offline mode you play? From my standpoint, I wouldn't play Hut anymore, or NHL for that matter, if it were purely offline. This is a take that I truthfully understand because early on in my career, so like NHL 19 to, when did I learn my lesson? 22 with the AP gate, but like 23 was probably when I really leaned into the understanding that the majority of the people don't play online. I could not understand how because I don't personally enjoy it. So this is like you don't understand that other people might have a different opinion. So what scratches your itch is being competitive, just like myself. Okay. When I am firing on all cylinders, it is because I am competing against someone or something, no matter what it is, right? And when I'm playing online, like ranked, I get super bored. Or I'll give you an example. When I'm playing Hut Champs and I go 5-0, and then I lose that game, I know I should win because I'm better than my opponent or I'm playing better than my opponent, but there's like that hockey goal. And I lose a game I shouldn't, and then I know that my chance of getting top 100 or a high rank is done. I completely lose interest. My last 10 games are always me mailing it in because I say that it becomes unserious. Hut Champs becomes unserious once you've lost about 5 games. For me personally, because the one collectible is whatever, and I don't care if I lose because it is what it is. I couldn't get really high enough, right? I'm trying to think of the perfect example here. It would be, I like playing Civilization, okay? I like playing Civilization, but it is such a hard game that I do not want to play it online because the people that play Civilization online are masters of their craft. And I have a hard time beating the CPU on Deity, which is the hardest thing. I don't think I've ever won a game on Deity, meaning that the challenge, I am not good enough to overwhelm the hardest difficulty. In NHL, you play on Superstar and you could do it in your sleep, like myself. That doesn't mean you're an absolutely unbelievable player. It just means the CPU can't give you enough of a challenge to stimulate that competitive itch that you have. So imagine imagine you went in and you started playing Madden. Okay? You started playing Madden and you immediately went to go play Madden online. You would not. You would play 5 games, get smoked, and you'd be like, I'm not doing this anymore. Or you would try and learn. And how you would learn would be to play offline. And then again, it'd be the same kind of situation where you would go all the way up. A lot of people don't care about competing in a video game. They compete in real life, whether that's just going to work, competing with their own mind to get up and go finish tasks and do what they got to do. Video games for them is a stress reliever, not a stress inducer. Video games can scratch that competitive itch because as you get older, you're not in college, you're not in high school, you could play sports. I would be willing to bet, Stan, that you played competitive sports in high school or college, just like I did, or even when you were growing up and you enjoyed it. And that's not for everyone. I have friends that are awesome that I play slow pitch with, and in my worst league, like that don't play any other sports and didn't really play sports in college or high school, and they just have a blast no matter what happens. If I don't hit an absolute piss missile every single at bat, I'm slightly upset. I could hit a triple, and I'm like, man, I did not get all of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just difference of personality traits. It doesn't mean that they're a lesser person. It's that they're using video games to take away the stress. They want to play the sport they love, but they don't want to have to deal with all the crap that comes with playing someone who is trying to play the video game, not the sport. That's what. So, very long-winded way, but you're just not seeing the like I said, I would test this. Go play a new game that you've never played and go play online and you'll get crushed. Tarkov would be a great one. Go play Tarkov for like 5-6 hours and you'll be like, I'm not doing this anymore. And that's why. It's the exact same thing. You're good at NHL. That was a good topic. We're gonna hit an hour with the outro. Everyone, thank you for if you're still here watching. Again, I think that some of these episodes are not going to be for everyone, and there's going to be topics and things that I'm just trying to fill. And I'm doing my best. Talking for an hour by myself is pretty insane, but I've enjoyed it thoroughly. So I hope you guys do as well. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't know if I'll stream today. I might. But anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Coffee and Chel, and then week 2 of the Next Gen event.